We are now live on the Red Pill Diaries once again with my time to time co host of the. Hey, Carl, I got to tell you, man, I got to say this. You've been doing a heck of a job on your platform. Um, and I just got to congratulate you before we go further and the outstanding work that you've been doing. So, everybody, we got to give Carl some cheers.
Thank you, Rashid. Thank you.
So Carl, on this episode of the War Report with us too, um, is Trump goes ballistic. I mean, what is going on in the mind of Trump? Do they have such a stranglehold on him with the Epstein files, or do you think that because he has surrounded himself with all of these megalomaniacs, it's just a group think policy along with Netanyahu?
Well, I think this is a combination of him being senile, stupid, and he's easily manipulated. We have what we have right now is reports coming from New York Times, which says most of the U.S. advisors were against this war with Iran, but Netanyahu comes into town, have a sit down meeting with Trump, and Trump, and there's a very important detail they mentioned that when the Trump hosted Netanyahu, instead of sitting at the head of the table when he usually do, he chose to take a seat opposite of Netanyahu in the middle of the table. You know, what does that mean when Netanyahu comes into town? The president of the United States do not sit at the head of the table. But anyway, so this was Netanyahu's plan. He said, this is the time to go after Iran. This is the best chance we have. And Trump advisor told him, actually, this is what Netanyahu always do. He oversell and minimize the risk. But Trump says, hey, no, let's try and see what happens. But I don't completely trust New York Times. First of all, you have to think why there are leaks like this, because in the New York Times, it posts Marco Rubio as being skeptical. It says Marco Rubio was very little bit skeptical, and it says Vance was against the plan. You have to think, like, a lot of these so-called news scoops, they're not really investigative reporter going in to dig out the truth. A lot of them are controlled releases, and they're really being leaked for a reason. Right now, I think there's a concerted effort by the backers, particularly Vance, is definitely going to be impacted. You have already seen the price rising, but you haven't seen anything yet. Fertilizer is getting hit because most of the chemical fertilizer come from gas. Urea, nitrogen, they're all extracted from gas. Well, 20% of the world's gas supply come from Qatar. That has been cut completely, and now it's spring. It's seen, as they are in cahoots with Israel. They're in bed with Israel. That was a whole plan of Abraham Accords that was stitched together by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is by aligning this GCC country with Israel, have them formalize a relationship. And the final coup de grace was to bring Saudi into the expansion of Abraham Accords. It's not very dissimilar from all the Gulf monarchies in the GCC country, because both Japan and GCC, they all benefited from their relationship with the United States after World War II, that they don't want to let go. They're scared to let go because that have worked for them for so long, for 80 years. They don't know what to do without the United States, so they're trying to desperately clinging on. And it's not going to work because U.S. is already retreating on all fronts in the world. I mean, this is already obvious. They're trying to refocus back in the Americas, in the Latin Americas, where they can still throw their weight around. And their stated goal, is to have their so-called allies be left holding the bag. Trump administration has repeatedly told the Europeans, Ukraine war is your problem. You need to bear responsibility So the rest of the African nation, all 53, now receive the tariff-free treatment for China.
Thank you again, my good friend. We've got to do this soon again. Be blessed, be safe, and salute to you and your family.
Thank you, Rashid. Anytime.
All right. Everybody, listen, join us tomorrow. We have a quadruple hitter tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we have Radhika Desai on the show. I know I'm messing up the last name. At 11, we have Tariq Surreal Amar on the show. At 12, we have Scott Horton on the show. And at 5, we have RT journalist Helen Beninsky back on the platform. So join us as we hit you hard. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share, tell others about this platform. And always remember this: do right by others, not because there's some material gain to be had, but do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. As my late, great, and beautiful mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth, but know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that the God of freedom, justice, and equality has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, remember to stay righteous, because righteousness is the only thing that's going to keep you going and get you out of here. Hey, mama, your baby boy still loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody, for joining me.